I was 18. It was the summer after I turned 18. And my parents, they had a family friend. Well, not a family friend, I'd never met him. My dad, I guess, had a friend from work who had a little vacation cabin somewhere up north near Lake Shasta. And when I say cabin, that's generous. This thing was like a shack, practically. It was swelteringly hot. There was no internet up there. And for an 18-year-old who really wanted to enjoy her first summer as an adult, it was hell. I didn't want to be with my family, and I sure as heck did not want to be with my family there. But I went because my siblings were going, and I endured it. I remember driving up there, and it felt really remote. And I knew it was going to be, but we were way the heck out there. There were no homes as far as anyone could see. So we were stuck here for 4 nights. And I was being a very surly teenager about it. That's the first thing I remember. It's really hot. It's hot in the cabin, it's hot outside the cabin. We had brought like a little plug-in fan. We only had one of them, but we were all kind of huddled around it in the living room. I didn't want to go anywhere. But everyone else wanted to go explore. The first day we were there, there was this it wasn't even really a hiking trail. I would say it was more like a deer trail that kind of went up behind the cabin. And my siblings and my parents were all gung-ho about going to check out scenery. I was less gung-ho, as you can imagine. I just wanted to sit around and sulk and hang out by the fan. But more importantly, what I really wanted to do was take photos for a boy I liked. I thought while everyone slipped out, I could tiptoe outside and, take some artful photos of myself amongst the trees. It was a boy I really liked. I don't think that the infatuation was mutual, but I wanted to impress him, and I thought when we got back to town, I would send him, photos of myself, maybe videos. So everyone's going out. They've packed snacks. They're going to be gone a while. And I'm thinking, okay, things are finally looking up. I'm going to have the cabin to myself for a little bit. This is good. This is good. I will use it for a content creation. Although this was shortly before I started my journey as an online creator. Everyone's getting ready to go out. And then my brother's girlfriend at the time, then wife, now ex-wife actually, she's like, I'm gonna stay behind. I don't feel very good. I'm kind of car sick from the ride. And I'm like, fuck. Please, at least, maybe we're all gonna not go now. Worse than going off with my family, I'm gonna be now stuck here with this girl I don't particularly like. And I'm an awkward person to begin with, so I just really didn't want to be left alone with someone who I know likes to talk and I would be forced to make small talk with. But I'm self-conscious, and she says that, and I'm like, oh gosh, what do I say? Because if I immediately say, oh, never mind, I'm gonna go, she's gonna know I don't like her. And she probably wouldn't have, but I was self-conscious about it, and I thought, well, I can't say anything now. I'm kind of roped into this now. This is what's happening. So she stays. Thankfully, she goes and she lies down. She's gonna rest, I guess. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful that she's not going to be in my way. And I'm relieved when the family heads out. And I'm thinking, okay, I can work with this. She doesn't care where I go or what I do. But I tell her, I'm like, hey, I changed my mind. I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna go catch up with them. I think I want to explore after all. And she's like, sure, whatever. But I don't want to explore. I decide to head off in the opposite direction on something that is very much not even so much as a deer trail, just straight off into the woods in the most sort of like densely forested area I can find. Because I'm thinking, well, it's hot and I feel gross and whatever. I'm going to finally take these pictures I wanted to take, and no one's going to see me. She's sleeping, my family's off, so I'm doing something else. This might be the only chance I get to take, well, to do what I wanted to do in the woods. And I probably could have gone 10 yards behind the cabin and done it, but no, I'm feeling awkward about it and insecure, and the thought of somebody running into me, well, I don't like that. So I go and I go and I go for a while. At least I'm walking for what feels like quite some time. And I already feel uneasy because, as I said, this was before I became a content creator. The thought of doing something like taking pictures or videos of myself in the woods or anywhere in public, it was exciting, but it made me nervous. I didn't like the thought of getting seen. I didn't want to get caught. It felt like I was doing something kind of naughty I shouldn't be doing. So I just felt uneasy. I felt nervous as I was sort of hiking out there. And I keep going and going, and I'm telling myself, okay, eventually, Olive, you're gonna find the perfect spot. And it will speak to you, and it will be nice and secluded, and you'll just feel safe and good, and you can do your thing, and then you can go home. But I don't. I keep walking. And I start feeling even more uneasy. Everything is quiet, like dead quiet. I don't hear any birds. I barely even hear like myself crunching through the leaves, although I'm sure I was. It was almost like a deafening silence. It's hard to explain. And I come across these like stick sculptures. And I'm a paranoid person to begin with. I'm ridiculous, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so Blair Witch right now. I'm gonna die. There's these weird twig formations in the forest. Oh my god. I have to turn around, and now I'm sure as heck not taking photos. I need to get out of here as fast as possible. I think I know which direction I came from, but I don't know for sure. And sure enough, I don't go the correct direction because I start walking and I find more of these weird little, like, they weren't teepees, they were like kind of more, I don't know, they weren't super structurally sound, but they were a definite, something with hands had made them. They were not naturally occurring formations, and they were way the hell out there in this forest. And I keep going. I'm not gonna run because I don't want to alert it or whatever it is that I think might potentially be out there that I'm scared. I don't want it to know, but I'm going fast. And that silence is still deafening. I can hear my own breathing. I can hear my footsteps now. I can practically hear my heart pounding, but I can't hear anything else. The only thing that's really kind of grounding me to reality at that point is my sense of smell was still there. And the whole time I was out there, I feel like I've always been really attuned to like the smell of like mold or like water damage in a building. Like I can walk into a property and tell that there's something off before anyone else can tell. And it kind of smelled like that. It kind of smelled like an old building where there's been some water damage mixed with like the worst BO you could ever imagine. And I've spent time in the California wilderness, Northern California. I know what it smells like. I know every region's a little different. I've never smelled a smell like that in the wild. It was weird. It just felt wrong and it felt off. And I was horrified. I was really scared. And then I heard it. It's crazy because I will never forget the sound. And yet I don't know how to describe it in a way that conveys what I heard accurately. It was a little bit like a shriek or like a cry, but it definitely didn't sound like any California wildlife I've heard. And it didn't really sound fully human. There was almost something like, I don't want to say mechanical to it, but it almost felt like this screeching of like on train tracks or like an engine in this really like high-pitched frequency. It was sort of somewhere blurred between like primate and like alien. That's I'm not describing it well, but that's how it felt. It sounded alien. And it was far off in the distance, the opposite direction. And then I heard it on the other side of me. Something responded to it. It was that same cry. And I was like, you don't want to be caught between, like, yeah, the Blair Witch Project and like Alien Predator. It was not a comfortable place to be. It didn't sound like Predator cries or like clicks, but it was alien, and I was not okay. I might have pissed myself a little bit. I was displeased, to say the least. And I'm going really fast. I'm not turning around. I'm not looking. At this point, I'm just straight up running back to the cabin. And I get back. And I slam the door. And then my family, 10 minutes later, they come back. They had actually gone around back to the main road because they didn't want to be in the woods anymore. And they walked up as close to civilization as they could. There was no civilization, but they were on the road. They didn't want to be in the forest. And because they had heard the exact same thing I had. They had heard something that was not supposed to be there. It didn't sound natural. It didn't sound normal. It didn't sound like, yeah, it was not a naturally occurring sound. So we're all pretty shaken up, and we're starting to kind of just tell ourselves, like, no, maybe you didn't hear what you think you heard. It could have been a coyote. It could have been a bird. It could have been anything. And we were kind of talking about what it could be. We can't Google anything because, no internet, no phone service. We're all just kind of calming each other down. And of course, my brother's girlfriend is like the most adamant that like it can't have possibly been anything out of the ordinary. She knows, of course, all this stuff about wildlife. It was definitely like a beaver or something. Who knows? Who knows what she said it was? It wasn't a beaver. But we have 4 nights there. We're not gonna jump to any terrifying conclusions. Not yet. My dad brings up Bigfoot.
And I hadn't even been thinking Bigfoot because to me it sounded alien. When I think of Bigfoot, I think of like gorilla grunts or, certainly not the sound that I heard. And it sort of started to connect with me like, yeah, I guess the sound, I guess the scream that I heard could be somewhere in the frequency of like an ape or like a large primate, maybe. I guess a very large ape could vocalize like that, maybe. I don't know. And now I'm starting to almost sort of doubt what I heard. Later that night, we have dinner, we're all kind of calming down a little bit. We go to bed. I can hardly sleep. My sister and I are up in this kind of weird loft, and it's hot as fuck. And she ends up sleeping on the sofa. She moves downstairs. And I just don't even like the idea of being close to the door, like the front door, because I'm so scared. So I stay up in this loft where it is just swelteringly hot and I'm miserable, so I can't sleep. And then we start to hear this, like, it's not knocking on like the sound of the cabin, but it was like, it sounded like someone was doing like construction with like a hammer in the trees. I can't, it was bizarre. Again, I can't fully explain what we heard, but it sounded like man-made sounds coming from the forest where there just wouldn't have been anybody. And I'm listening to it. I don't come down from the attic. I don't know that anyone is, or the loft. I don't know that anyone else in my family is really fully awake, but I'm listening. And then we hear it again. We hear those shrieks. And at this point, my mom comes out of the room. We're all awake. Am I blurry? Am I in focus? All right, there we go. How long have I been blurry for? Sorry. We are all wide awake. We can't sleep. We're incredibly uncomfortable. I say something like, please, can we leave? Can we get out of here? My parents are like, no, don't be ridiculous. We're all playing this up a little too much. We're kind of feeding off each other's fear. It's fine. It's an animal. We'll figure out what it is tomorrow. Let's just all go back to bed. So I go back in my little loft. And I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot, aren't I? This is going on and on for a long time, but I go up in my little loft. We're about an hour later. I have to pee so badly, but why do I feel like I'm blurry? I am blurry. Sorry. I have to pee so badly. I'm dying. And everyone else is asleep at this point. I don't know how the hell they went back to bed, but they did. Excuse me. And finally, like, I'm going to piss myself. I finally go downstairs. And I go to the bathroom. And then I go to get a bottle of water from the kitchen. And through the kitchen window, I just feel like I'm being watched. And I'm hesitant to look up because the thought of like meeting eyes with, like locking eyes with whatever it is that's watching me, like even now, like I want to just throw up when I think about how terrifying that would be. But I look out there and I swear to God, I see a shape moving through the trees. It is like this massive 9-foot tall humanoid looking shadow. And it moves away. And it was really dark. And this is one of those things where like I cannot definitively say that I did see that or that it could have been a figment of my imagination. That one I will admit to. Man, I don't think so. I I don't think so. I think what I saw was Bigfoot. And that sounds insane, but I think it was. So we're there another couple nights without incident. We hear what sounds like the same sound, maybe very, very faintly, in the woods the night before we leave. And I'm thinking kind of what I always think. If I have I'm just going off on a tangent now, but if I have a dream where there's a monster chasing me or something bad, something evil, I always try to get on its good side. I offer it favors I am not even proud to admit. I know. I always want to befriend it because I think, well, maybe it will be gentle on me or kind on me. So I'm telling my mom, like, hey, maybe we should give it a burger. And she's like, Olive, what the fuck? You can't just leave a burger out here. There are bears. And I'm like, okay, there might be bears, but there's also Bigfoot. And maybe he wants a burger. Maybe if we leave him a burger, he won't feel hostile towards us anymore. And she's like, Olive, are you fucking kidding me? First of all, we're leaving in the morning. It doesn't matter. Also, again, bears. Don't do it. I disobey her. I'm 18. I'm rebellious. I'm stupid. And you absolutely should not leave out food for bears. I mean, it wasn't for bears, but I shouldn't have done what I did, but I made like the perfect burger. I crafted it just right for Bigfoot. And I sneak outside to the side of the house. And not only do I set this burger on like a rock out there, but I also take little stones, little pebbles, and I make like, I don't know, it's a nice presentation. There's a little like fairy circle of pebbles around my burger, so that it kind of knows like, hey, this is an offering. And I leave it there. And I really expected to hear something outside, whether it be knocking or grunts or more of the shrieking, who knows. I felt like a kid waiting for Santa Claus to arrive. Like, you know, you think you're gonna hear hooves on the roof, the sleigh bells. And I heard none of that. And I'm thinking, darn, Santa Claus isn't real. Bigfoot isn't real. Or if he is, he's not my friend. He's not real in the way I wanted him to be real. He doesn't have the desires I thought he would have. And I go out there where everyone else is like making breakfast. And not only is the burger gone, like completely gone, but so are all of the rocks. Every single pebble gone. Not scattered, neatly picked up and removed. They were gone. And I know nobody in my family moved it because I would have been scolded for it if they knew that I had in fact put a burger out there. So my offering didn't go unnoticed. Something took that burger and the rocks that went with it. And I felt like I'd made a friend. Kind of. I felt a little bit better. But it took a long time to feel good about going into the woods alone after that. And we still talk about it, obviously, at family gatherings. But the thing that really sealed the deal for me was my dad talked to his friend who owned the cabin and was like, yeah, we heard some weird stuff out there, and you know, we were making jokes about Bigfoot and whatever, and the friend looks him dead in the eye and he's like, oh yeah, he comes to visit. Bigfoot comes to visit. Like, I see him around. And it was like, I mean, he said it I mean, this is secondhand information, but my dad told the story as in like, he said this so casually and so matter of fact that it was just like, yeah, of course, yeah, that's Bigfoot. He comes around. And so I guess he's not something to be afraid of. Maybe. I don't know. But there were more than one of them out there. They were, I don't know if it was a mating call, I don't know what. But it was so real. It was so incredibly real. And then when you look up like Bigfoot stories or Bigfoot sightings, so much of it lines up. Like people describe it in different ways, but it's the shrieking and just the smell and the twig structures, like it lines up. And nothing about Northern California fauna or, you know, the wild of Northern California, nothing can explain any of it outside of like, well, fuck, maybe this thing exists. And I know you need to have a population of something like 4,000 to sustain a species. And I know that if Bigfoot existed and were in close proximity to humans that often, we would know about it and we would have found concrete evidence, we would have found DNA, we would have found remains. But I can't explain away what I saw and heard and experienced and smelled and I feel like everyone's allowed one crazy conspiracy theory, or maybe not conspiracy, but we're all allowed to believe like one thing that's really kooky. And I don't know, there is talk of Bigfoot being some kind of interdimensional being or like extraterrestrial creature or time traveler or God knows what. But there's something bizarre at play. There's something really bizarre at play. And if you heard how alien those sounds were, I think it's both incredibly human-like and it's an ape, and yet something about it is not of this world, or at least not of this time period, or just, I don't know. I don't want to sound crazy. And I don't want to, this has been like a half-hour long video, so I don't want to go into it anymore, but I don't think I'm crazy. I don't think I'm crazy. I know what I experienced, and I believe. I believe big time. I didn't believe before that, and I thought Bigfoot was a joke, but it just, I don't know, it just sends chills up and down my body thinking about that. And then it opens the door to all of these other what ifs and maybes, and, you know, maybe cryptozoologists are right about everything, and what it boils down to is there are things in this world we can't explain. And I'm going to stop rambling now and I'm going to turn the camera off, but I don't know. It was wild. You can never convince me that he's not real. It's not real. Whatever species it is not real, because what I saw was very real. So, if you have Bigfoot stories or other cryptid stories, supernatural stories, I would love to hear them. I would love it if you would comment below and share them with me, or maybe message me, and we can compare our stories together. Because man, yeah, it was wild.